Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode 309 for August 15th, 2023, and this is our 6th anniversary show. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have removed over 3,000 seats from their stadium now that Tom Brady is gone. Michael Oher from The Blind Side is suing his foster parents, and is the Big Ten championship game moving to Las Vegas? Also, in honor of our 6th anniversary, we will be featuring some audio highlights and lowlights from the past year. But I'm not here by myself. Across the table from me, as always, is my son, Adam.
Man, oh man, 6 long years this thing has been going.
Yeah, you've been across the table from me for 6 years now, except for one episode when I missed and one episode when you missed.
And 5 weeks we
And 5 weeks that we didn't record when we took a break 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride.
It's been fun, but yeah, it's been.
But it's ending, everybody.
Now, 6th anniversary. Shoot, this is nothing.
Oh, it's nothing, huh?
I mean, there's lots of podcasts that have been around for 6 years, right?
I
right?
Guess. Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably.
We come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. We also have timestamps down in the descriptions on YouTube that'll help you find the topics that you can't wait to listen to. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel. That would be youtube.com/@theworldoffootball, as well as other selected videos, like last week's history lesson, where we talked about how Canada once honored a CFL team on its currency. Also, you can check out episode 2 of the new podcast, Just Lying Around, a Detroit Lions podcast, featuring Adam and Kyle.
Yeah, episode 2 last night.
How'd that go?
It went. Oh, you didn't listen to it?
Well, I did, but I wanted to see how what you thought.
I thought it was an improvement. You know, Kyle is still a new podcaster in training.
Yep. First podcasts are always terrible. This one was terrible on his first one.
Yeah, I think we're off to a better start because the audio quality is at least there. We got video up of the podcast, so that might keep evolving. And it's the preseason, and you know we love talking about our Lions, so I'm sure the show will evolve over the course of the season. So we'll see how that goes.
And it could be a pretty good season too.
Yep. And just for everybody to know, I know the timestamp thing is a new part of the script, and it's being described where they're in the description of both the YouTube and everywhere the podcast description is.
That's right.
So it's not just YouTube, the way it's kind of phrased.
You're right. I said that wrong. I just threw that in there.
It's worded really bad in our script, and we got to work on it. Okay. And, you know,
fix that for next week.
We're finishing year 6 or starting year 6?
We're finishing year 6, starting year 7.
All right. So let's get on it. You know, Harry Potter went to school for 7 years, so you know, we got one more year left before we get our wizard degrees.
Okay. All right. Well, let's begin today's podcast with Adam and the World of Football scoreboard.
That's right, everybody. It was week 10 in the CFL, and what a weekend it was.
Yeah, I didn't see all the games, but from what I saw, there were some great games this weekend.
Well, just, you know, we as Lions fans, we know the hurt of losing.
Yeah.
We know the sting of defeat.
Yes.
And Edmonton, I am so sorry because Thursday night saw the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defeat the Edmonton Elks 38-29, but oh boy, they had a 22-0 lead at one point during this game.
I was so hoping this was the turnaround, but oh man.
Yeah, on the first play from scrimmage, Edmonton running back Kevin Brown scored a 65-yard touchdown to take the 7-0 lead, eventually leading to that 22-0 lead. And when I saw that score on my phone, when I was out and about, I said, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Edmonton could finally do it against a great team nonetheless.
Especially against Winnipeg. Yeah, that's unusual.
And then I put my phone away. Edmonton finally found the end zone I'm trying to read this out of order now. It was 22-0 in the second quarter before Winnipeg finally found the end zone. Edmonton eventually was leading 29-24 after the third quarter.
Yep.
but they ended up being shut out in the fourth quarter. Winnipeg took the lead for the first time in the game, 31-29 early in that fourth quarter, and handed the Elks their 9th straight loss of the season. Winnipeg backup quarterback Drew Brown replaced the injured Zach Collaros in the second quarter and completed 17 passes for 370 yards and 4 touchdowns.
4 touchdowns from your backup.
Yeah, and running back Brady Oliveira ran the ball 14 times for 110 yards. For Edmonton, quarterback Trey Ford completed 12 passes for 189 yards and a touchdown. He also ran the ball 5 times for 50 yards and an additional touchdown, while wide receiver Kyron Moore caught 5 passes for 96 yards and a touchdown. So the Elks found another way to lose.
I thought for sure they were going to win this game.
We all did.
They played so well for, through those 3 quarters. They didn't even lose the lead until like late in the third quarter, and then were shut out in the fourth. And oh man, I was so sorry for them. I felt so bad for their fans.
I did too, and they debuted that
it was a new logo designed by an indigenous gentleman that's from Edmonton. They asked him to create something or update the design, and he did. In fact, they interviewed him on the sidelines about the logo, and it's basically the same logo, but he put kind of a indigenous flair to it or whatever.
Which I dug. Yeah,
it was cool. It was cool. Now I don't know if this was a one-time thing or if this is the new permanent.
I don't think it's permanent. I think it was like one of those alternate logos. That they could throw at their repertoire.
They do something with the indigenous folks every year, and this is what they did this year. So, it looked really nice. It looks good close up, but it's got a lot of detail on it. So from a distance, you don't.
It looks a little busy from a distance, but when you kind of look at all the detail, there's a lot there that I dig.
It's very nice. I like it.
All right, and then moving on, Friday night saw the Montreal Alouettes demolish the Saskatchewan Roughriders 41-12. Montreal quarterback Caleb Evans completed just 8 passes for 149 yards and a touchdown for the win. He also ran the ball 11 times for 66 yards and 2 touchdowns, while wide receiver Austin Mack caught a pass for 56 yards and a touchdown. That's right, 1 pass on his stat line.
His only pass of the night.
Yeah, his only catch of the night. And then for Saskatchewan quarterbacks, plural, Mason Fine and Jake Dolagala, Dolagala combined to complete 16 passes for 127 yards and no touchdowns in the loss. Fine was injured early in the game and did not return. Dolagala did have a rushing touchdown at some point during the game too.
Yeah, I mean he played well, but not enough to come close to what the Alouettes were doing.
Yeah, Montreal, I think, definitely improved squad they got this year compared to the last few years. That man, since they're like super awesome Grey Cup teams behind, the quarterback's name's going to escape me, but he was there for a long time, and they were like a juggernaut there.
Yeah.
Up until about 3 or 4 years ago, then I won't say they've been the punching bag, but they've been at the bottom end of the league for the last few years. So it's nice to see them they kind of climbed up a little bit last year, but I think this year they got a very solid squad.
They've been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team this season. They'll look really good one week and terrible the next week, so I don't know.
Much like us in our podcasting. All right, moving on. Saturday night, British Columbia, the Lions beat up on the Calgary Stampeders 37-9. British Columbia quarterback Vernon Adams completed 27 passes for 322 yards and 4 touchdowns, while wide receiver Keon Hatcher caught 9 passes for 170 yards and a touchdown. For Calgary, quarterback Jake Maier completed 17 passes for 131 yards and no touchdowns, while kicker Rene Paredes accounted for all the Calgary points with 3 field goals.
You said he completed 27 passes, but it was just 23 passes. I didn't want to stop you while you were in the flow. But
23 passes.
And Calgary, beat Montreal or beat Toronto last week to end their, their winning streak for the season, given the first loss of the season. Now they come back and they throw up a stinker against the BC Lions. I mean, BC's good.
BC's good. That's any version of football. You were never counted out any week. Your record may look bad, or you might have had a great week the week before, but guess what? It's a new week.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. And my big thing from this game, I saw the highlight of this. I don't know if you saw this, and we're not going to talk NFL preseason, really.
Right.
But did you see the video from the British Columbia sidelines as they're watching the video board of former quarterback Nathan Rourke with his awesome highlight from the Jaguars.
No, I did not see that.
It was pretty great. You saw all the guys like looking up at the Jumbotron there at BC Stadium.
Yep.
And I just thought it was a cool moment, to see the former CFL quarterback on the screen. And we don't really have a spot for it in the rundown to talk about that play. So I was like, well, we'll just mention it here because, Nathan Rourke, we were a little disappointed that he was going to jump to the NFL. Mm-hmm. And it's only a preseason game, but apparently this is so far the best highlight of the NFL season.
It was the best highlight.
Heck of a play.
They thought we had him sacked, 3 different times, and finally he threw the ball as he's being tackled. His knee is almost on the ground, but he gets that ball away and throws a touchdown strike.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, heck of a pass. We'll get to see him against Detroit here this weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So that'll be exciting, and hopefully he makes the roster there. That'd be really cool for him to make the NFL roster.
Yeah, well, Chris Streveler was still with, God, who's he with now? I forget who, but yeah, he got in a preseason game the other day.
Okay.
Also, so there's a couple of CFL quarterbacks or former CFL quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay. Hopefully they can stick with whatever team they're with.
Mm-hmm. And finally, the Toronto Argonauts, the defending Grey Cup champs, defeated the Ottawa ROADBLOCKS in a shootout, pretty much 44-31. This is a high-scoring game.
Yes, it was.
Toronto quarterback Chad Kelly came back from injury, completing 21 passes for 417 yards and 4 touchdowns. While wide receiver Devarius Daniels caught 6 passes for 180 yards and 3 touchdowns. Heck of a game for those guys. For Ottawa, quarterback Dustin Crum completed 21 passes for 292 yards and 3 touchdowns. While wide receiver Jalen Acklin caught 6 passes for 157 yards and a touchdown.
These were the best highlights of the week.
Yeah.
This was so back and forth. I couldn't watch this game because, I couldn't on my laptop, but I was doing stuff on my computer, and I had my phone sitting there, and it seemed like every other minute, another thing popped up, score changes, and so many lead changes.
That's right, because you have the Toronto app, don't you?
Yeah, but there were so many lead changes in the course of this game. It was like back and forth. They take the lead, we take the lead, they take the lead. It was incredible. So yeah, you watch these highlights and you'll get a feel for just how crazy this game was. So glad for Toronto because that's one of my favorite teams.
Yep. All right, and then on bye is one of our other favorite teams, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And we're going to take a quick look at the standings. In the East, the Toronto Argonauts lead the way with a 7-1 record, followed by the 5-3 Montreal Alouettes, the 3-5 Tiger Cats of Hamilton, and the 3-6 Ottawa ROADBLOCKS. In the West, you have the 7-2 Winnipeg Blue Bombers and British Columbia Lions. The Saskatchewan Roughriders sit at 4-5, the Calgary Stampeders at 3-6, and the Edmonton Elks at Goose Egg or Looney Egg and 9.
Poor Edmonton.
Oh man, I want
maybe this week. I don't know.
I want them to get that win so bad. Get that off their back.
Yes, everybody deserves to have at least one win during the season.
It's been a series of unfortunate events for them. I mean, you change your name, and then you haven't really, since becoming the Elks, they really haven't done anything. They haven't seen any sort of success, and it's bummed me out.
And I'm hoping that Trey Ford is going to be the answer for them. I mean, he's played really well. He runs well. He passes well. And hopefully they'll stick with him and give him a chance to really show what he can do, and hopefully he can get some wins on the board this year.
Hopefully that team, if you get a lead, you can hold on to a lead. My goodness, blowing a 22-point lead is...
Well, Winnipeg's a good team.
Great. They're a good team.
Yeah, I was surprised when it was 22-0.
You shouldn't be allowing a 22-point lead to slip through your fingers.
And when it went to 22-0, it was the play that Zach Collaros got injured on, because he was trying to toss the ball away before he got sacked, and he accidentally flipped it to one of the other players who ran it in for a touchdown, and then another player landed on top of him after he had gotten the ball away, and they threw a penalty on that play. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they took him off the field after that, and he didn't come back from that.
Okay, well, with that, we're going to move on to the National Arena League Championship game, which saw the number. I'm sorry, I'm doing 5 things.
I can do this one if you want me to.
I can do it.
Okay.
The number 1 seeded Jacksonville Sharks defeated the number 2 seeded Carolina Cobras 54-45 in Jacksonville. It was the 3rd NAL title for the Sharks, winning in 2017, 2019, and now 2023. Jacksonville quarterback San Castronova completed 19 passes for 241 yards and 4 touchdowns. He also ran for 2 additional touchdowns.
I think that was Sam. I wrote that wrong. It's not your fault.
Oh, come on, script man.
Sam Castronova.
Sam Castronova. Apologies for our terrible script writing. 6 years in and we still can't get that right.
My fault.
Wide receiver Cameron Solomon caught 8 passes for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Cobras of Carolina, quarterback Malik Henry completed 20 passes for 280 yards and 5 touchdowns, while wide receiver Lance Evans caught 12 passes for 149 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Now, I knew that name, Malik Henry, from somewhere.
I was going to say, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, well, there's 2 guys named Malik Henry. This particular gentleman that was the quarterback here, he was featured on Last Chance U a few years ago. But there's also a wide receiver up in the CFL playing for Calgary, also named Malik Henry, and he's been playing up there since 2021. Okay. But as soon as I heard that name, I'm like, where have I heard that name before? And I started looking into it, and that's what I found, is that there's 2 guys with the same name. But I knew I recognized that name also. So congratulations to the Jacksonville Sharks. I'm sorry you're not, at least as of right now, you're not coming to the Arena Football League next year, but sounds like it was a pretty good game. I caught just a little bit of this game. I think I saw the opening kickoff of the second half, and one play from scrimmage, and it was like a 49-yard touchdown on one play, and then they missed the 2-point conversion or whatever. But I did catch a little bit of this game. It was on YouTube.
Okay. So yeah, I was gone all weekend, so I missed a lot of football. So
well, we only had 5 games this week. The 4 CFL and this one here. So now it's just the CFL and NFL preseason that we're going to be talking about. So pretty soon it'll be all.
And we barely even talk NFL preseason.
Right?
So.
Yeah, we won't be talking much in the next week or so, unless something happens that's extraordinary or whatever. But okay. So that's I guess that's it for this week's World of Football Scoreboard. All right, so let's move on to some NFL news. Former Lions offensive lineman and current radio broadcaster Lomas Brown is going to be added to the Pride of the Lions, which is our version of the Wall of Fame at Ford Field. And that's going to happen on October 30th. And ironically, we're going to be there that night.
I mean, that's the game they're going to debut, the Blue Helmets.
Yeah. Monday Night Football game.
Monday Night Football, Lomas Brown induction, so we'll get to be there. And then we'll also get to see the Barry Sanders statue, which will have been there for a few weeks. So it's going to be a heck of a day for us.
Well, a heck of a night.
And night, yeah. But looking forward to it. Very excited.
Only been to one other Monday Night Football game, and that was a preseason game.
Yeah, we did that together.
Against the Rams at Ford Field years ago.
I remember that. But for Lomas Brown, I mean, long time coming. Deserving. It was cool. There's a great video of him in the broadcast booth.
Yep.
And they cut to commercial. They had Rod Wood, our team president, in the booth with him. And they played a video on the video board, so you get to see a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff. And then you get to hear the radio part where he's like, "Well, you guys were away at commercial break. This is what happened if you're listening on the radio." And Lomas, he said something like, "I should have known something was up when I got valet parking for the first time coming into the game today." So he's like, I should have figured something was off.
I think that's well deserved. We've talked about who do we think needs to be on the Pride of the Lions, and it's always Jason Hansen, Chris Spielman. I say George Plimpton myself, but Lomas Brown is not a name that I thought of right away, but it makes sense. He was a great offensive lineman.
Great offensive lineman, and then he's been doing the radio broadcast for the last 3 or 4 years. He's done TV stuff for him before he even became the permanent play-by.
You see him a little bit on the pregame show, but mainly he's in the radio booth during the game.
So I mean, big in the Detroit community. Yep. So I mean, good for him. Very excited to see that. It'll be cool to actually be there for a ceremony like that. Like,
haven't we been there before? I think we.
To see a thing unveiled for the Pride of the Lions? I haven't.
I thought we did.
I went and saw the Calvin Johnson when they brought the bust and all that, and they did a special presentation for him at
I wasn't there
Lions
for that.
game. You didn't go to that game, but
I think I've been there for an unveiling of the Pride of the Lions. I
can't remember. You'd have it in your little notes somewhere. I'm sure.
Maybe. All right. Let's see. Bills safety DAMAR HAMLIN played in his first game since being carted off the field last January. He had 3 solo tackles in a preseason win over the Indianapolis Colts, 23-19. I think that's great, but man, I was just I didn't think he'd ever see the field again myself.
I mean, so much has changed since. When was that? Was that a late December game?
It was January 2nd or 3rd.
Okay, January 2nd or 3rd. So here we are, 8 months later, and he's playing football again. I mean, incredible. Hopefully, they keep an eye on him.
Well, sure.
And hopefully he, as long as he feels good and feels like he can still get out there, I mean, good on him. But I mean, everybody's always going to wonder. Everybody's going to wait for that next big hit he either makes or takes.
Right. Is he going to get up from that hit? That was
it's going to, it's going to be scary.
Yeah.
So that's just what's going to happen. So
yeah.
I
I was afraid for him.
Yeah.
I didn't want him to get back on the field because I was afraid he might get hurt again. But evidently, the doctor said he's fine. He feels fine. He wants to play. Let him go.
It'll just always be one of those things that's going to linger in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
So yeah, good for him. Keep it up, DAMAR.
Let's see. Another story we had. Michael Oher, best known as the main character in the Blind Side book and movie, claims that his foster parents never actually adopted him like they said they did. I guess he found this out in February of this year. He's seeking to end a conservatorship that he signed with them when he was 18 years old. Kind of like the thing that Britney Spears had with her parents, and she had to go to court to get that taken away. But he's also seeking royalties from the 2009 movie, which I guess he never got any money from that.
Weird.
From what I read, the parents and the 2 kids got money from the movie, but not Michael Oher himself. And this is going to get messy, and it's going to get ugly because if some of the things that they're saying from what I've read already are true, it makes these parents sound like they're really terrible people.
Yeah,
and I love that movie.
See, that's a movie I've never seen.
You've never seen the movie?
I've never sat down to watch it. I've seen the clips.
I think I've got it out there on the
I know you have it. You own it. I just never done it. Not that I've never had an interest in it. It's just been one of those things that slipped through the cracks. I've just never gotten around to watching.
Yeah.
But now, Sandra Bullock won an Academy Award for that performance in that movie. So if you're Sandra Bullock or anybody associated with that movie now, do we have to not erase it, but do we have to do a new edition where it says this is now a work of fiction?
Put a disclaimer on it.
Oh man, it's just so much. Is this going to be a documentary? Is it The Blind Side 2, the real story?
I'm wondering if she'll ever put out a statement.
I've been wondering.
I don't know. I don't think she needs to.
She
was hired to play a part, and she had the script, and she played her part, and she did well. But if I were in her shoes, I would feel terrible. Like, my gosh, I did this part, but as it turns out, these parents were scamming this kid, and
so that's what made me wonder. She's got to. I won't say has to, but part of me felt like she's probably going to come out and say something at some point. I'm sure she's got a PR team waiting for some of the dust to settle before she comes out and says anything. But if you're her, hey, great performance. She won an Academy Award. She was voted by her peers to get it. Does she give it back? Does she,
No, she doesn't need to give it back.
I'm not saying she needs to, but it's definitely not her fault. But to have played that type of person, to be good, and they turned out to be a total piece of crap.
Because up until February of this year, everybody thought that this was a feel-good story.
Yeah.
And everything. But now it sounds like it was not the feel-good story.
Oh, God, now they're going to remake it with the real spin on it. Oh, no.
It went real Blind Side.
The feel-good movie to the dark, scary, manipulative. Oh, my goodness.
Michael Oher, Blindsided.
Yep, it's such a weird situation. I couldn't believe it when I was seeing this.
Yeah.
But he had already said before that he didn't like the portrayal of himself in this movie. But to go that long and to just find out about what did these people? How did these people think they were going to get away with this?
Well, they basically took advantage of him. They saw a kid that
at NFL college potential,
had talent. And they thought they could take advantage of it. At least that's what some attorneys are alleging.
I guess we'll have to let it all settle.
Yeah, it's like I said,
it's messy.
This just came out this week, even though it's been brewing since February, and the story's just now coming out here in mid-August. And like I said, this is going to get messy. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get sad.
Ugh.
So I don't know. We'll report more on this as more facts and things come out.
Yes, report.
But
because we are reporters.
Yeesh, we don't like the terrible stories, and this could be one of the
this
big
is one
terrible
of those big
stories
things this week. That, once this started coming around, it's like, oh no, we probably have to bring this unfortunate story.
It's a big story, but we don't like covering these kinds of things. But this is incredible. This whole thing.
Incredible in a sad way.
Yeah. Let's move on from that one. Running back DALVIN Cook of the Vikings signs a 1-year, $8.6 million contract with the Jets, and you were watching his career to see where he was going to land?
I was curious.
Where did you think he was going to?
I had no idea. They've been saying the Jets for a little bit, but before this, it was Miami. I think he went and talked to New England, maybe. But we'll talk about New England in a second. But I mean, if it wasn't evident before, the Jets are loading up. Hard Knocks tonight, by the way.
That's right.
We didn't even put Hard Knocks on the rundown. We can.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I didn't even.
I guess we could talk about it after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was at the training camp last week. We saw that in the Hard Knocks episode. But I think he's a talented running back. We've had to see him for the last few years. Playing with Minnesota. Right. I think he's talented. A little injury prone, but I mean the dude was productive, and he's only 28. I want to say. So he signs a 1-year deal, $8.6 million. So he's going to get paid, and he's going to be a heck of a 1-2 punch with Bryce Hall, the running back, Breece Hall that's already there. You have Aaron Rodgers. You got a bunch of weapons. The Jets are going for it. We'll just have to see if this ends up like a Tom Brady loading up to go win a Super Bowl, or if it'll just flame out in the playoffs if they even get that far. So,
well, speaking of the Hard Knocks episode. To me, it seemed like it was all rainbows and sunshine. It's like everything is just fine. Aaron Rodgers is so happy there. Everybody loves him. He loves everybody. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, so maybe it's just me hating on the whole situation over there. But yeah, it just seemed like it was just sickly sweet that everybody was so happy.
Yeah. So. I felt the same way you did. It was very Aaron Rodgers heavy, which we figured it would be.
Of course.
He's the hard to say if he's hamming it up for the camera, and look at how relatable and nice I am and great with my teammates and joking around. I mean, I would say Hard Knocks wouldn't just, catch them acting like that, I would hope. I would suspect a little bit of that's got to be genuine. Maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't quite the... I still think he's a narcissist, but maybe he's not quite as
the villain
as we kind of think he is. I mean, he's just a dude playing football. I get it, but I don't know. I'm not saying maybe a little bit that I'm a little more like, okay, like I don't hate Aaron Rodgers as much now.
I think that's the point.
I
think that's the whole point. They're slanting it so that everybody loves Aaron Rodgers now.
But
buy his jersey.
But so other than that, look, I think it was I'm not going to say it's the best episode of Hard Knocks I've ever seen. It wasn't terrible. There were a few great moments in it. Especially, I want to say, what was it? Like all the defensive linemen and linebacker. They're back and forth. There's a little part where they're all talking to each other about going to see like a Broadway play. And one guy was like, "Oh yeah, you're going to get us a suite." He's like, "Sweet, like, dude, like we talked about this. You were there." He's like, "I don't remember." Whatever that whole exchange was gold. That was a great.
Yeah, he wanted to eat from a charcuterie board and he couldn't pronounce. Oh yeah, and they made fun of him for that.
I mean, I would love to repeat it, but we try to be a family show here. Yeah. But that was a good one. I like that they brought in Liev Schreiber, the narrator of Hard Knocks. And
you thought that was awesome.
He had never been to any of the Hard Knocks filming before, and this is the first time. I guess he's an Aaron Rodgers fan. Is he a Jets fan? And that's the first time.
Probably.
And the first time he'd ever gone to see Hard Knocks filming. So that was a little weird and meta when they, he's
bring him in with a helicopter. I wanted to just drive, but the TV guys wanted me to come in by helicopter. Yeah. So again, they're planting these stories and making it look one way.
But I like his voice. I think it works.
Yes.
The narration's great. Well, Aaron Rodgers kept calling him the voice of God.
Yeah, I said, no. That's
Steve Sable?
No, not Steve Sable. John Facenda.
Oh, John Facenda.
He's the original voice of God. This guy's okay, but he's no voice of God.
I'm fine with it. Like, they've had John Hamm in there, too. I think a lot of these guys that get to narrate Hard Knocks do a pretty good job. But so that was a highlight for me. And then did feel like a rather long, like they stuffed a lot in there. I know they had that first preseason game, but it did feel like it didn't breathe enough to a point. Like we got to the end of the episode, I'm like, oh my God, we still got a game to go through, and we got like 10 minutes left. And I'm just like, at that point, we went into the game without a whole lot of individuals to root for. Aaron Rodgers wasn't dressed.
Because Aaron didn't play, so why show the game if Aaron's not in there? We show him in training camp, but you want to see the game? Oh, yeah, and they played a game. Okay, next.
I mean, the only other player that kind of showed was the backup quarterback, Zach Wilson, who obviously he started the last...
Former starter, yeah.
Former starter, but he was a person I was interested in just to see his chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, because he talked about giving the if they brought in Aaron Rodgers, he was going to give him hell, and it looks like they get along.
Sunshine and rainbows.
Sunshine and rainbows.
Between those two, they're best friends. They're probably going to see the Barbie movie this weekend.
Have you seen it yet?
No, not yet.
Why not? It's great.
I'm waiting for it to come out on DVD.
Yeah, okay. It's great. It's great. Go see it. But yeah, I think it was a typical Hard Knocks episode with a handful of good moments. And maybe a little too much. Look how great Aaron Rodgers is.
It should be Rainbow Knocks. It's not Hard Knocks anymore. It's too sweet for me. But I'll keep watching, and that's what they want.
You just send those notes to Chris Willis. A little too soft.
He's got nothing to do.
Too soft, Chris.
He's got nothing to do with it.
And he could send that little sticky note to somebody's office who matters.
I don't.
Not that Chris doesn't matter. We love Chris.
I don't think so. He's too busy writing another great book somewhere. Okay, the Patriots are signing running back EZEKIEL ELLIOT from the Cowboys to a 1-year deal worth $6 million. Yeah, the whole story about the running backs not making their money anymore, and him being a casualty from Dallas, but somebody else is going to pay him that. We'll see how that works out. The running backs are kind of maligned right now.
I guess, but it's very interesting. We're 2 weeks into the preseason, or about to be 2 weeks into the preseason, and now we're getting some of these big guys falling off the free agency board and landing with teams. So it is almost like they don't want to spend that money. They're seeing what they kind of get in camp, and once they kind of settle in, they can figure out, is it worth the cap space they've been saving? Is it worth to bring in a DALVIN Cook or bring in a EZEKIEL ELLIOT and see if they can pay them, I won't say dollars to donut, but just paying them an amount that's not terrible, but also not going to be free agent period where everybody's just spending money left and right and breaking the bank for a dude. So it's a weird, interesting strategy. I don't know if this will be the norm and how many more of these guys we'll see start falling as people get into their training, further into the preseason, go, yeah, these guys aren't cutting it. Let's try to go sign. Because there's still a few dudes out there. There's still a few. So we'll see.
Another story. With Tom Brady gone, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have removed around 3,600 seats from Raymond James Stadium that they added just last year. The area was known as the Crow's Nest, and it was temporary seating in the stadium's south end zone. I guess, there was a big demand for tickets when Brady was there, especially in his third season. Everybody thought maybe this was going to be his last season, so everybody wanted tickets. So they expanded, put in an extra 3,600 temporary seats in the corner of the end zone or whatever.
So I thought this was stuff they did from day one.
No, it was just last year. And so now that he's not there, I guess the season ticket demand is not there, so they're doing away with those seats. And they're, I don't know what it was before, what was in that area, but now they'll do something else with it.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I found it funny. I mean, it obviously makes a great headline that they're losing seats after Brady retires. So.
Well, they're not losing them; they're taking them away because they can't fill them. Yeah. So, whatever. Yeah, I hadn't heard that till you brought that up the other day. This was another story you told me about. Thought this was interesting. Saints rookie kicker Blake Grupe, Grupe, kicks the game-winning field goal versus Kansas City last weekend. And then was stopped a couple of different times by security at the Superdome, his home stadium right now, and questioned him. They thought he was a fan leaving the stadium through the player's exit because he just didn't look like a football player. He's like an inch taller than I am and 157 pounds, so I guess he just doesn't look like your typical.
Either that or he just didn't have his credentials. I don't know.
It's also says here, prior to kickoff, he was stopped by security for not having credentials when he tried to take the field for pregame warm-ups. You're in a uniform. Isn't that your credentials?
I mean, for pregame warm-ups, they're probably not wearing their full uniforms.
I don't know. But again, he was questioned. They're like, are you serious? Are you a player on this team? So twice, before the game and after the game, he was asked for his credentials. And they wanted to know, who are you and what are you doing out here?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, the dude kicks a game-winning field goal despite, that before, and then just to have it happen at the end of the game.
Right.
Oh, man. He at least took that in stride, and, seemed like he
wasn't upset about it, but he just thought it was funny, and I think it's just ironic that they're treating him like that.
Hopefully they now have a picture of, hey, this is our kicker.
Right, yeah. Hopefully that won't happen again. All right, in some college news, the preseason Associated Press Top 10 rundown is out. Number 1 for the season is Georgia, of course. Number 2 is Michigan. 3 Ohio State. 4 Alabama. 5 LSU. 6 USC. 7 Penn State. 8 Florida State. 9 Clemson. And 10 Washington. Does that sound like a good lineup? I mean, it's basically all the teams that were on the top.
If this was for next
10.
year, this would be half Big Ten, half SEC.
Well, right now you've got three Big Ten teams in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, plus USC's
if you add USC and if you add Washington,
Penn State, yeah.
And my gosh, State, yeah. So if this was next year, this would be half and half. I feel like it would be SEC and Big Ten as your 2 big dogs. I'm pretty sure there's no other because
yeah, it is 5.
Yeah, so 5 and 5
would be and next year would be all be Big Ten teams.
Yep, and then yeah, so it just amuses me a little bit seeing that. But hey, it's preseason polls. It'll all change. I mean, usually with the number 1 team, they're usually going to be in the top 4 no matter what. So Georgia will probably be there at the end of the year. Right. We know Alabama will at least be in the mix. Will they actually be in the top 4? Who knows? Ohio State, I think, almost a lock. Michigan's the one I'm always hesitant about. I know they've been good the last couple of years, but can they keep it up?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Let's see, another college story. EA Sports college football video game they say it's still on track despite some looming lawsuits from players over how much they're getting paid for their NIL rights and whatnot. But according to EA Sports, it's still on track to come out next August, I think it is.
I want this game so bad.
I know, everybody does, all you gamers. So
I hope they figure it all out because, this game will probably break records when it comes out. I mean, it's been almost a decade, a little over a decade since the last game for the college footballs come out, and this will set all sorts of records. You just wait. It'll fly off the shelves, physical copies, digital copies. It'll be in high demand. So that'll probably be a story we talk about a year from now when that game finally comes out.
Okay. Let's see, another story. The Big Ten championship game could be moving to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. The game has been played at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis since its inception in 2011. The current contract with Lucas Oil Stadium expires after the 2024 season, and they're already starting to put out feelers on, send us a proposal on, what you'd give us to bring our championship game to your stadium. And Allegiant Stadium has hosted the Pac-12 championship game the last 2 years, and will do again this year. But the conference could be gone after next year, completely gone. And so they're looking for somebody to have a championship game there. Big Ten might just move in and say, hey, this is our new home, Las Vegas.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea, but with you having 4 teams out west, that far, West Coast, and then you have your Iowa and Nebraska kind of out there too. So I'm not going to say it's as a great central location, but it'll definitely be a big spotlight, and the Big Ten will be the second. They're already the second biggest conference. Now they'll be, quote, the biggest conference with 18 teams.
18 teams in
so
next year.
It makes sense. I would like to see it stay in the Midwest, kind of where the hub of the Big Ten is.
Because it's going to be Michigan and Ohio State every year, basically. That sort of set up now.
Well, now you throw in USC and Oregon. You might get a couple of, with Michigan and Oregon, or Michigan, USC, Ohio State, whatever. So that's why I think Las Vegas wouldn't be a terrible location if this goes through.
Sure.
But man, the Pac-12 down to 4 teams next year.
Yeah.
I saw somebody propose like maybe they should merge with the Mountain West, and I laughed when you see that lineup because what a downgrade for the best 4 for the 4 teams from the Pac-12 to go to that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad to see the Pac-12 demise the way it's going right now. But and speaking of the Pac-12, last week we were talking that there were rumors that Stanford and Cal might be going to the ACC, and now, though I don't think there's anything official yet, it looks like that probably won't happen after all. From what I've been reading, some of the schools are not on board, so they don't have a majority of schools in the ACC that want to bring them in. So it's looking pretty bad for those two. They may have to go as independents, which I've heard that before too, that they may just go independent and set their own schedule.
Well, we'll see. Like we talked a little bit last week. I don't know if being independent is going to be the way to go. with all these conferences having to
you never know.
play each other. I mean, how much wiggle room are you going to get for out of conference stuff? So we shall see.
Hard to say. All right, this is our 6th anniversary, and every year that we've been doing this podcast, we have come up with some highlights and some lowlights from the previous year, and we've done it again this year. I've got some clips, and so why don't we just get right into these?
Yeah, set them up. Let's hear it.
All right, the first clip comes from episode 263 back in September of 2022, and we were talking about Rihanna and how she was going to be the halftime performer at the Super Bowl, and you didn't think I had a clue as to who she was, but I did. So here's a little clip where we talked about Rihanna from back on episode 263. All right, Rihanna has been named the headliner of the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show this year. I've heard of Rihanna. You know, you.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you have not.
You were kidding me last year, where when they had Snoop Dogg and Eminem and Mary J. Blige
50 Cent,
and all those guys on the halftime show. I knew most everybody. Kendrick Lamar, I think, was the one I wasn't the most familiar
Kendrick
with.
Lamar, yeah.
Everybody loves Kendrick. And most of their songs. I mean, I watched the halftime show. I knew almost all their songs, so it wasn't that bad. I know who Rihanna is, but to me. More than I can't really say I've heard any of her music. I know you were going to play me some, but I know her more from the movie Battleship.
Oh my! I was going to make a joke that might be the only place you know her from, and you went there. Goodness gracious!
But I guess she was also in Ocean's 8.
And, she was good in Ocean's 8.
I never saw that movie. And
what do you mean? Hold on, time out. I know this is a football podcast, but I'm going to put my movie viewer hat on. How have you not seen Ocean's 8?
I've not seen any of the Ocean's movies.
Well, Ocean's 8 is up your alley. You like Sandra Bullock, don't you?
Oh, I love Sandra Bullock. Well,
this has got Sandra Bullock in it. You like Nora from Queens, Awkwafina. You like Awkwafina, don't you?
I like Awkwafina.
Awkwafina's in this movie. You like Cate Blanchett, don't you?
I think so.
Well, she's a good actress, and she's in this movie. This is totally up your alley. Do you like James Corden?
I'm not sure who that is.
He's the British comedian who's got that late night talk show.
Oh, him.
Comedians in car karaoke thing.
Yeah, okay.
You like him?
Yeah, he's okay.
He's in this movie, so you need to go check this movie out.
Okay, but
I think it's great.
Like I said, she was in Battleship, and I've seen a little bit of that movie, not the whole thing, but I caught a little bit of it on TV not too long ago. So I know she was in that. It says she was in Ocean's 8 and also in the movie This Is the End, which I know you're familiar with.
That's a great comedy.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I've seen bits and pieces of that movie, and I can't say as I remember her.
She's in a quick bit at the beginning. She slaps Michael Cera in the face. It's great.
Okay. But yeah, from what I read, her last album was released in 2016. She last performed music live in front of an audience in 2019, and she's won 6 Grammy Awards over the years. And so, my point is, couldn't they got somebody that's not out of practice performing to do a Super Bowl halftime show?
How dare you talk about Riri like this? How dare you? She's got a lot of great hits, some of which we can't play for fear of getting demonetized. For not having our channels taken down and all that. But I mean, come on, great songs like "Only Girl in the World." You kidding me? Her S&M song. She's got so many great songs. I believe she does that Titanium song.
Don't bother listing them off because I probably haven't.
Umbrella. How do you not even know Umbrella? I'm
sorry.
Great.
She's not on the Beatles channel on Sirius XM, and that's what I listen to all the time.
You're unbelievable.
So anyway, she's going to headline the show. They're not sure if she's going to have somebody else be on there with her.
She probably
will. There's talk she will. There's talk she won't. We'll just have to wait.
We got a few months to figure that out.
But yeah,
I'm a little bummed that Taylor Swift didn't get it, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, that was it was like 2 days later after they said Taylor Swift was the front runner, and all of a sudden now it's Rihanna, and no Taylor Swift at all.
And the other big thing, this is Apple Music taking this on. I mean, for years it's been the Pepsi halftime show. Now Apple Music taking it over, and Apple's just got so much gosh darn money. That's what makes me think that this might be an indicator that when Direct Ticket or Direct TV NFL Sunday Ticket gets moved, Apple's going to be taking it. That's what I think. That's just my prediction.
Could be.
Yes. Listening back to that clip, YouTube got the NFL Sunday Ticket there. So, but you now know who Rihanna is now that you've seen the halftime
I got to
show.
watch pregnant Rihanna. Of course, we didn't know at the time. It looked like right after the halftime show that they announced she was pregnant. You kind of got that impression from her outfit, but
and she wasn't moving around a whole lot. I was like, why is she not moving around a whole lot?
I've never seen her perform, so I couldn't tell you that she's not moving around like she used to. All right, let's move on to another one.
What other clips you set aside for us?
we talked about the AFL coming back. This is from when we first found out that it was coming back, and you talked about where you were when you found this out.
Oh, and a phrase I infamously invented?
Yes. This is from episode 279 from January 17th, 2023. The AFL is back, and a big surprise from you. Moving on, didn't see any new games on Arena Football TV on YouTube, but there has been a rumor going around.
OMG.
We don't normally get into rumors, and I don't like it because I want this to be true so bad, and I'm going to be disappointed if we find out it's not true. But there are rumors that some form of the Arena Football League is coming back. They've changed their Facebook profile picture to a different logo, which is one that the actual Arena League was using a few years ago. And supposedly the rumor is they're going to have an announcement soon. I don't know. I can't get anybody to confirm anything, so it's just a waiting game. But boy, would I love to see the Arena Football League come back.
I don't get on Facebook a whole lot anymore. But when I got on there, and one of the first things I saw when I was poop scrolling, that's right, you sit on the toilet and you poop scroll. We've all done it.
No, TMI.
We've all done it. Don't shame me.
Well,
You've done it too.
Maybe.
But
it's still TMI.
You've definitely done it. But I will not forget where I was on that toilet when I was scrolling through my phone. And all of a sudden, 15 minutes ago, the Arena Football League Facebook page that I followed years ago, the official page, mind you, of the league, has changed his profile picture for the first time in 4 years. I had to stop. I was aghast. And I was like, this can't be real. Maybe it's nothing. And then I go to the Twitter. The Twitter changed too. And there's a website. You go to the website, they got a hashtag. And you go, I was like, okay, this has got to be a fake website, right? You scroll down to the bottom, it's copyright 2023. Something's happening with this league, and I need to know now. Am I getting the Grand Rapids Rampage back, or are we getting some sort of Michigan team? I want it back so badly. I want this to be true.
We both do. But until something more concrete comes out, it's just a rumor at this point, and I hate to get involved in rumors.
I know we hate rumors, but this was the one I was just like, we gotta lead with this. Why is this not our lead story today?
Because we don't.
Because it is just rumor. I get it. Yeah. I get it. I was trying to think of the wrestler's name, The Undertaker, coming out of the casket. Oh my God, that's what's happening. And let's just hope, if this is true, that the ownership, that everything, the infrastructure is not, how airtight can it be? Who knows? But just please be good. Yes, so we all have done it. I've done it. You've done it. You listening, you're doing it. You're probably sitting on the toilet right now listening to this podcast for all we know.
Don't let us know if you are doing it.
Please let us know if you're doing it.
All right, the next clip comes from episode 281. And obituaries have been a part of our podcast since day one. And in this particular episode, I tried to explain the difference between a happy obituary and a sad obituary.
Our next obituary is that of Jesse Lemonnier, a defensive back in the NFL for 2 seasons, has passed away at the age of 25.
Oh, man.
The cause of death was not immediately released. Lemonnier played college football at Liberty University and signed as a free agent with the Los Angeles Chargers back in 2020, where he appeared in 6 games. He also went on to play 7 games for the Detroit Lions in 2021.
I'm sorry to say I do not remember him with the team.
It's unfortunate.
I remember the name.
Yeah,
he was only there for 7 games, but the name just isn't familiar.
I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of those smaller, practice squad guys or guys that get elevated to game status because of injuries or whatnot that kind of slip through the cracks. I mean, it's hard, and especially it was only a couple seasons. It was last year.
Yeah,
and it's just so much happens. You kind of get invested in that the current season, so you only can barely remember a handful of the guys who stepped up this year, let alone the guys from a previous season. So it's unfortunate, but I mean, the players in this position like Lemonnier was in, there's a lot of guys out there like him, just guys who are on the bottom of the roster who might get playing time, get a few games in during each year, but you probably don't remember their names. And I mean, the league is made up of a lot of these guys, but it's really sad to see a guy 25, younger than me even, whose football still had a lot of football left in him probably, to have everything tragically cut short. It's really sad.
Yeah, this is one of the sad obituaries that I hate doing. A young man, only 25 years old. A lot of these other ones are happy obituaries. A person lived to the age of 90 years old, and he played football back in the 1950s or something like that.
That's a life storied career.
That's a life well lived and a good long life. Lots of kids and grandkids. Those obituaries I don't mind talking about. But when you're talking about a 25-year-old kid, for whatever reason, we don't know the cause of death yet. But for whatever reason, 25 is just way too young to be passing away.
So a lot of stuff happens during our show. Sometimes I forget lines. Randy forgets lines. We flub a lot. But also sometimes a telephone happens to go off, despite numerous attempts to make sure that all of that is taken care of before we hit record.
Yeah, and you made a big deal out of this, that my phone was ringing or buzzing or whatever, but you cannot hear this on the podcast. You can't hear what's going on.
That's right, yeah.
But you kept bringing it up. Like 2 or 3 times, you had to bring it up. Oh, my God, he's still doing it. He's still got his phone on.
Yeah, because the microphones have been really good about not picking up some of the excess sound.
Right.
So that's what's going on in this clip. Talented corner. Maybe he just needed a change of scenery. And Detroit got probably, I won't say great value, but I mean, for what the market's been. And wow, somebody's got his cell phone on. Way to go, Randy. Way to interrupt the podcast with your cell phone. Anyway, I think Atlanta could be a good fit for him. Maybe something in Detroit just wasn't clicking for him, and a change of scenery is best for both teams. The market value, we just saw Jalen Ramsey go for a 3rd-round pick in a trade. So what's Jeff Okudah going to fetch? It's not like Okudah's mounted to much other than having the distinguished title of being the 3rd overall pick in 2020. But wow, your phone is still vibrating. Well, let's try to call you. Is it a telemarketer? Is it an important call? Do we need to stop the podcast?
My family dentist is calling.
Oh, your family dentist? Well, put him on the podcast. Let's do it right now.
Probably want to.
How's Randy's fillings looking?
My future appointment.
Oh, what are you going to do to Randy's teeth? Let's find out right here live on the show.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about it. I've been putting off a procedure for about a year.
Oh, geez. That's not what we want to hear. Yeah.
All right, are we done with the Lions talk?
I guess.
Okay.
I keep getting lost because your phone kept vibrating. Any thoughts on Okudah in a 5th-round pick?
No, I mean, he had really a lot of potential, but I just don't think he really worked out in Detroit. And like you said, maybe a change in scenery will do him good. And, I wish him well.
Yeah, so listening back to this clip, I was like, what were we initially talking about? And it was Jeff Okudah signing with the Falcons, who Jeff Okudah got hurt in practice with the Falcons. So hopefully, I can't remember if we talked about that at all, but hopefully, he's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy that phone ringing was bothering me.
And I thought when I went back to get the clip, I thought you could hear the phone buzzing or ringing, making some kind of noise, but you can't hear it at all.
Yeah.
So these microphones, and it's sitting right here next to the microphone, but yeah, you couldn't hear it at all.
What's the next clip?
The next one is a phrase that you came up with, and every time you come up with a phrase, you just think it's automatic gold. You think it's the greatest thing ever.
Well, yeah, because I'm usually right.
And this is just another one. It's called "If you seek it, you can find it at the World of Football."
Well, we did watch like some of the other indoor leagues, and I forget what game it was. One of them had a great net advertisement. It had to have been for
a local attorney or something.
Local attorney's it's like his headshot or his ad with his phone number behind the goalpost.
Yeah,
in the indoor football league and in Champions Indoor Football. That's why I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the the Duke City game because they just dangle the goalpost from the ceiling, so it's just that U-shaped yellow you see. But on the net, it was just a picture of just some lawyer with his arms crossed
right between the goalposts. Like you aim for his nose, and you'll get that.
I mean, good for them. They get some advertisement. Sure. It just cracked me up watching this game, being like, I can't take this seriously with this dude just standing there over the goalpost. It was like watching SpongeBob during the Slime Time games that they were doing on Nickelodeon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Bubble Bowl halftime show.
But they should do the SpongeBob Bubble Bowl halftime show at the Super Bowl one of these years.
Oh, they tried a year or two ago.
Did they?
Well, they did a little bit.
Why? Just because Katy Perry had a bunch of sharks come out with her?
I don't know. They were they were teasing that somehow they were going to work it in, and I can't remember if they actually worked it in or not. But
clearly they didn't. They must have dropped the ball on that one. But anyway, that's it for this week's World of Football Scoreboard.
Yeah, 15 games. I as the season has gone along, if we started out and we just had the XFL, so 4 games every week, and now we've got 3 other indoor leagues going on. I thought, man, how many games are we talking about? And this week it was 15. I think it was about the same last week. I didn't actually put a number to them, but I
decided this week to start counting how many games.
Yeah,
we're talking about.
15 games, and people say this is the slow time for football. Hey, we reported on 15 games this week, folks,
and we watched all this stuff.
Yeah, we watched.
We didn't watch all of the games, but we watched the XFL. We watched indoor football. We caught some champions, and we caught some NAL action. Yep. So it's out there for you. You can't just be ignorant and be like, well, there's no football out right now.
Yeah, it's more than just the NFL out there, folks.
If you seek it, you will find it in the world of football.
Yep.
Add that catchphrase. If you seek it, you will find it. Man, I just deserve so much money for all these catchphrases I come up with.
Yeah, I don't know if that was that good or not.
Wow, you usually write it right down. Okay, that hurt my ego a little bit. Anyway, on to the news.
All right, we're going to start with some NFL news.
All right, yeah, I'm pretty sure my ego has yet to fully recover from that incident.
Well, those last 2 clips, the phone ringing during the show, and if you seek it, you can find it, were both from episode 291. So let's move on to episode 294, and this was where we're talking about. I had just done a history lesson about the very first player draft in 1936, and you were speculating that in about 10, 15 years, it's going to be the 100th anniversary of the NFL draft. So you were speculating on what that was going to look like, or what it should look like, in your opinion.
Wow, I don't remember any of this. That NFL draft has changed quite a bit since 1936.
Yeah. Yeah, and this was your idea. I mean, you came up with this like a week ago.
At
the last minute.
As a co-producer / content supervisor of this podcast and website and YouTube channel, I just thought, that is the kind of synergy we need to bring to this show to make sure we also keep up with current events and tie it into the past somehow, because otherwise y'all would have gotten a history lesson on, I don't know, something completely random that has nothing to do with
another defunct football league.
Yeah, probably.
Which I'll be doing a few more of those.
Like what? What defunct football league could you?
Well, like NFL Europe.
Oh yeah, you could do those. I mean, those are all safe for a good rainy day down the road. Yeah. You got a lot of defunct leagues to get.
Rainy day today.
It is. But hey, I just thought it would be appropriate, and it was an interesting enough story that I thought, hey, what if we talked about the first draft, or you talked about it? You do all the work and all that,
and I thought it was interesting. I didn't know this until I started researching and reading about this. That only about 28 players actually were signed out of 81. Crazy. It is.
Yeah, when I sit there, I help you record it and everything. Like hearing that information, I was like, really? That's just fascinating.
Well, back in those days, the pay wasn't that great.
Right.
A lot of guys in college, they didn't want to play, pro football. They had other plans, to get a job, get married, whatever. Pro football just was not high on their list, so it was a different world back then.
Well, in 13 years, when we get the 100th anniversary of the NFL draft, I hope they get rid of all the technology and stuff, and they just simply have Roger Goodell or whoever the new commissioner is at that time wheel out a big old chalkboard and just do it that way. I'd love it. And you know what? ESPN could still broadcast it, and it would still get ratings.
Yeah, 13 years from now, Mel Kiper and his hair will still look perfect, and he'll be telling everybody who's good and who's not.
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now how you make that the greatest draft spectacle of all time. All right, you put all those teams and all those GMs, you get rid of the fans for 1 year, and you just all go set up at that hotel there in Philadelphia. Then what you do, the Ritz-Carlton, you have 32 hotel rooms filled with NFL teams, and you have one guy each that gets to run the pick down a flight of stairs down to the stage to the guy with the chalkboard. And that's where the TV brought. It'd be great. I'm telling you, this would be incredible television. Just cameramen following these kids running down the hallway with the pick in their hand.
Make it like an obstacle course.
Oh my God!
On this floor, they got to go through this.
Double Dare on Nickelodeon. You got to slide down the slime slide, and then you got to find the yellow flag up in the nose of that big prop they used to have to dig up into.
Or
that's a deep cut.
Or like Game of Death with Bruce Lee, where at every level he has to fight a different kung fu master to advance to the next level.
Oh no! Looks like the Jaguars didn't get their pick in time. Here goes the Ravens guy. Has to do the same obstacle course. Or at that point, if somebody doesn't get there in time, it's the next pick up, right? So that guy's got to start running to try to get to the. Oh, I'm telling you, this would be great television. Oh man!
Don't open that door. There could be an Aztec warrior there.
Oh my God! If it's like Legends of the Hidden Temple, this is gold. Roger Goodell, feel free to call us. We have got ideas.
I gotta make a note and put this on the annual rundown.
Oh my God! The fact that we're self-aware that these are going to make it onto that clip show.
Well, yeah, it's our clip show. 100th anniversary.
Oh my God! And he's got to read it out loud to everybody too.
Okay.
Jeez.
All right, I'm good now.
The rinky-dinkness of this show, I tell you what. Yeah, listening back to that clip, I wasn't sure where I was going with that. Like I didn't remember anything about this whole bit, and then
I thought it was.
It took
the
a
more
minute.
I thought about it,
It took a minute.
Yeah,
But I stand by it. I stand by the thing I don't completely remember saying. But I mean, shoot, an obstacle course to deliver the pick. I think it would make ratings. I still think that.
All right, let's move on. Aaron Donald's birthday. We do birthdays and some anniversaries. Like this was the anniversary of the very first Arena Bowl in the AFL. So it happened to be Aaron Donald's birthday, and I could not get through the first line of this obituary without messing it up. I think I had like 3 major mistakes, and I finally said, "The heck with this! I'm going to start all over again." And the second time, it was much better.
Oh, this is the shorter clip too.
Mm-hmm. Moving on. Today's birthdays. May 23rd, defensive tackle Aaron Donald turns 32 years old today. He played his college football at the University of Pittsburgh and was selected in the 13th. Oh, I'm sorry. Was selected with the 13th overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft. Wow, this is terrible. Let me start over again. Defensive tackle Aaron Donald turns 32 years old today. He played his college football at the University of Pittsburgh. He was selected with the 13th overall pick in the 2014 NFL Draft by the St. Louis Rams. He played 9 seasons so far, all with the Rams, and won Super Bowl 56 2 years ago. Why couldn't I do that the first time?
I don't know, but it's a good thing we're live.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I don't go back and edit.
Oh, you're not going to cut that out?
I'm not going to go back and edit that.
Right,
Nope. Yeah, we even had to restart the show today a couple of times, just based on some flubs. So.
Yeah, well, part of it was a technical difficulty.
Yeah, technical. But usually the only time we will re-edit something in the podcast is if maybe somebody makes us swear, which I don't think's ever really happened.
No, I don't think so.
Or if, at the beginning of the show, if we have a flub, we'll just start completely.
Yeah, if we're like 30 seconds in and something happens, we'll redo that.
But like that far into the podcast, you kind of have a flub. You just gotta kind of roll with the punches there. And you know what? Heck of a recovery. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it was so much better. I don't know what was going on that first time. I just could not get the words out.
Thought maybe you were starting to have a stroke on air.
Yeesh. Hope not. All right, our final clip is one that comes from episode 299 on June 6th. It's a long one because Adam got on a rant about different cereals being named for college bowl games. So this is Adam's cereal rant.
You said you actually edited this a little bit, didn't you?
I did, yeah, because you kept going, you were trying to think of the next one to talk about, and
yeah, I was like scrolling through my phone rapidly trying to find another cereal.
So listening to it now is not nearly as hard to do as it was the first time around. Let's see. This is one that took me by surprise. You found this one also. The Cheez-It Bowl in Orlando has a new title sponsor.
Now, I only found this because I was looking up Cheez-Its because I'm a fat kid and I like to snack. And I was pleasantly surprised about the snack they replaced this snack with.
And at first when I saw this, I thought, is this an April Fool's joke? This sounds too comical.
And then I said, no, it's June.
And I found it in a couple different places, so it must be real. But the game will now be known as the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Or as I like to call it, my Saturday morning as I sit there with my bowl of Pop-Tarts.
Well, it makes sense because they've got the Tony the Tiger Bowl, so that's another Kellogg's breakfast cereal. So, you got Pop-Tarts and Tony the Tiger out there in different bowl games. Who knows? What's next? The Fruit Loops Bowl?
We can only hope. Well, let's get
Cocoa Krispies.
cereal-themed bowl games out there. I want the Count Chocula Classic. We got to get the Tony the Tiger. I need something that starts with a T. Touchdown. There you go. The Touchdown Bowl. The Tony the Tiger Touchdown Bowl. The Toucan Sam Yes We Can Bowl. What other? The Frankenberry football bonanza. What other? I'm trying to think of mascots. We got the Captain Crunch Bowl. Get Captain Crunch out there. What other mascot? We got the Fruit Loop. No, we already did Toucan Sam. Loops. Man, I'm running out of cereal mascots. Yep. What else we got? We got the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms.
The Grape Nuts Old People Bowl.
There you go. Co-sponsored by Shady Green Retirement Center.
That's right.
Or something.
Wasn't there a bowl game that was sponsored by a senior center down in Florida one year?
If there wasn't, there should be now.
I think there was. I can't remember what it was, though. If somebody out there remembers, let me know. But yeah, it was like a retirement community sponsored a bowl game.
The Blueberry Bowl. I'm just sitting over here trying to think of more.
Yeah, I know. I think
what other mascots are there? Death. I don't think we have it. We could not have possibly run out of the Cookie Crisp, whatever that cereal guy was bowl. Called.
Cookie Crisp cereal bowl.
The Sugar Smacks guy. Which one was he? What was his name? Didn't he have a name?
Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear. There you go. The Sugar Bear Bowl. What about the frog? He did the other. Yeah, there we go.
I think we've run this one.
No, okay. I'm gonna look up cereal. I should have done this to start this bit.
Well, while you're doing that, and
I ran that bit into the ground.
I hope your internet connection gets lost. The National Football Foundation and the College Football Hall of Fame announced the names of the 2024, the names that are going to be on the 2024 ballot for induction into the College Football Hall of Fame. It includes 78 players and 9 coaches at the FBS level, and 101 players and 32 coaches at the division level. That's everybody else. Division, FCS, Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, all those.
Right on. And speaking of lists, here are the top 17 cereal mascots that should get bowl games. Tony the Tiger from Frosted Flakes.
Got it already.
Buzz Bee from Honey Nuts Cheerios. Dig'em Frog from Honey Smacks. Sonny the Cuckoo from Cocoa Puffs. Trix Rabbit from Trix Cereal. Captain Horatio Magellan Crunch. He should get his own bowl.
That his real name?
Yep. Quisp on Quisp Cereal. I've never heard of Quisp.
Oh,
there you go. There's a reference for you old people.
It was Quisp and Quake. Where's this list coming from?
The internet. Toucan Sam from Fruit Loops. Count Chocula. We already did that one. Lucky the Leprechaun from Lucky Charms. Snap, Crackle, and or Pop. Give one of them a bowl game from Rice Krispie Treats. Minnie on Frosted Mini Wheats. Minnie is apparently the little mini mascot from the Mini Wheats.
Oh, really?
Crazy Craving, the honeycomb mascot. Sugar Bear from Golden Crisp. Yeah. Sunny from the Raisin Bran mascot. Let's see. Then what we got? Cornelius Corny Rooster from the Corn Flakes box.
Yeah, classic.
Fred Flintstone from the Fruity Pebbles and Cocoa Pebbles
Too commercial. I'm surprised Quisp was on that list. Somebody must have been an older person that did. I think they still make Quisp cereal. You can buy it on the internet. Some little company still actually creates it. But yeah, when I was a kid, Quisp and Quake were the two cereals.
Something called Big Mix from Kellogg's. It looks like a weird moose.
Never heard of it.
Let's see, we already did Toucan Sam. Linus the Lionhearted from Crispy Critters. Is that one you're familiar with?
Crispy Critters?
Yep. Klondike Pete from Crunchy Nuggets.
I don't know any of
that
these.
Cereal. Oh, these are old-looking cereal boxes. Here's your Quisp. Ooh, Cookie Jarvis from Cookie Crisp back in the 1970s. Now that's something you should be familiar with. Captain Rick from Rissicles, some Kellogg cereal from the early 80s. Ooh, they got HT the Robot from Hidden Treasure cereal, which was something I remember as a kid from 1993. Yeah, it's
kind of familiar.
Yep. Waffalo Bill from Waffalo cereal.
Waffalo Bill.
1979. Please tell me you remember that one.
No, I don't.
E.T. from E.T. cereal, based on the movie.
What do we got? Mr. T from Mr. T cereal?
I don't know. I might get there. Lovable Truly from Alphabet cereal.
I think we've... They don't make alphabets anymore.
Cracko from Corn Crackos from Post. Could go on.
Yeah, don't. We've done enough here. We're gonna make this a 2-hour show just because of your cereal fetish over there.
Whoa! Don't fetish shame me. Man, what a year we had with clips.
And I left some on the cutting room floor because during the course of the year you write down a lot of things thinking, well, this might be good for a clip or whatever. And these 8 clips were the best from this year. What will next year bring? Who knows? But we'll try and do a better job. But We usually never do.
We never do.
All right. Let's move on. Today's birthdays. August 15th. Coach Eric Bieniemy turns 54 years old today. He played college football at Colorado and was selected in the second round of the 1991 NFL Draft by the San Diego Chargers. He played running back for the Chargers from 1991 to 1994. He also played for the Cincinnati Bengals from 95 to 98 and was with the Philadelphia Eagles in 1999. He then went into coaching. First, he was at his alma mater, Colorado, and at UCLA in college from 2001 to 2005. Then he was the running backs coach for the Minnesota Vikings from 2006 to 2010. He went back to Colorado in college and was there in 2011 and 2012. Then he went to the Kansas City Chiefs between 2013 and 2022. He was the offensive coordinator there from 2018 to 2022 and won Super Bowl 54 with the Chiefs in 2020. And last season, he was the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders in 2023.
Oh, he's going to be the coordinator this upcoming season.
I'm sorry.
So he won Super Bowl 54 and this most recent Super Bowl. So he's got 2 Super Bowls.
Okay. And the other birthday is running back Sam Bam Cunningham, born on this date in 1950. He passed away in 2021 at the age of 71. Played his college football at USC, and he was the 11th overall pick of the 1973 NFL Draft by the New England Patriots. He played 9 NFL seasons, all of them with the Patriots from 1973 to 1982, but he missed the 1980 season due to a contract dispute. He is the brother of former Eagles quarterback Randall Cunningham.
And there was one other birthday we saw that Randy didn't realize or recognize the player's name, so he didn't add him. But Matthew Judon, also from the New England Patriots, he's a current player there, and I believe a former grad of Grand Valley State University just up the road from us. So happy birthday to him.
Okay. All right, then we've got a couple of obituaries today. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first obituary is that of Sean Dawkins, a wide receiver in the NFL for 9 seasons. He's passed away at the age of 52. Dawkins played college football at the University of California, Berkeley, and was the 16th overall pick in the 1993 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts. He played for the Colts from 93 to 97. He also played for the New Orleans Saints in 1999. The Seattle Seahawks in 1999 and 2000, and he finished his playing career with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2001.
All right, and our final obituary is that of Alex Collins, a running back in the NFL and the newest iteration of the USFL, has passed away as a result of injury sustained in a motorcycle accident at the age of 28.
Wow.
Collins played college football at Arkansas and was selected in the 5th round of the 2016 NFL Draft by the Seattle Seahawks. He played in Seattle in 2016. He then signed with the Ravens of Baltimore in 2017 and played 2 seasons there. Then he returned to Seattle, played 2 more seasons with the Seahawks in 2020 and 2021. And then in 2023, he played for the Memphis Showboats of the new USFL. So, yeah, all their social media feeds, we're sharing that or posting about that. So, always hate seeing a young guy like that.
Yeah, so much potential. I mean, he had some chances in the NFL and was trying to make a comeback to the NFL by being in the USFL. Motorcycle accident. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, this week's history lesson. We're not going to do a history lesson this week. Instead, look for episode 4 of our series, Have Grave Will Travel, later on this week. We'll talk about visiting the graves of Ollie Klein and Al Babartsky. Who were they? Well, just hang on and you'll find out.
Wow.
All right, upcoming events calendar. Saturday, August 26th, FBS College Football Week 0. Navy versus Notre Dame in Dublin, Ireland. There's also 6 other games that day, but that is the marquee game, Navy and Notre Dame. And then Thursday, September 7th, the NFL regular season begins with our beloved Detroit Lions traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs.
Yes, sir.
NFL season is right around the corner, and so is college season. All right, anything else before we bring this show to an end? Our 6th anniversary show.
Our 6th anniversary show is a long one, but as of right now, nothing breaking.
Okay. Well, if we find something, we'll add it next week.
Yeah.
That's it for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we've done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
Go ahead and go over to our Facebook page and like us. You can find the World of Football over there. You can also go to the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, to follow us at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast to hear us on whatever Alexa devices you have in your home. You can also find the full audio version of this show on YouTube. Just search the YouTube search bar there for the World of Football Kalamazoo, or use our handy dandy handle, youtube.com/@theworldoffootball. So please spread the word and subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us here in Kalamazoo. Until next time, when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm going to keep poop scrolling.
We'll see you all next week.